Hey, welcome to Wellness Farm Chat. I'm Brooke, your host, and here we'll be chatting about all things homesteading, farming, and wellness. If you are new to this lifestyle or are looking for simple and easy steps to begin your wellness journey, you are in the right place. Hello and welcome back to Wellness Farm Chat. Today I'm going to be finishing up my 4-part series of my pregnancies, labors, and deliveries and postpartum. And today I'm sharing baby number 3, which was my second daughter. And so I got pregnant with my third, and it was more planned. My first 2 were unplanned, complete surprises, blessings, and all a part of this huge journey that I've been on. They are the reason why I have come down this path because of how I was neglecting my body. And then, I couldn't have more kids if I didn't do something differently and change how I was feeding myself and taking care of my family. So when I found out when I was trying to get pregnant with my second daughter, I was doing a lot better, but I wasn't here. So I was eating more whole foods, having a little bit of organic, not completely, just partially organic. I wasn't buying any baby food for my older 2, but I was making food, but it wasn't the best food. Like I wasn't buying the rice cereal or anything like that, but I was definitely making like oatmeal with whole foods in it, like bananas and yogurt, but I was like in the middle. Like I wasn't buying any baby food, even if it said organic, I wasn't buying it. I was just making things that I thought were better. Well, looking back, I was like, ooh, that was not better, but it wasn't the worst. So I got pregnant with my daughter, and my other 2, I forget how old they were. They were probably, my 2 daughters are 19 months apart. So not that big of a space, but it was still planned. And the pregnancy was okay. It was a better pregnancy. I think I was doing some cod liver oil. I was eating more eggs, but I think I still had the cravings that were not great. And I did give in. I think I did get Ruben and Esther like McDonald's once or twice. Like I think that was the time when they experienced the fast food, was when I was pregnant with my daughter. And honestly, it was still a blur. I don't remember a lot of it. I think I did survive as well. I know I was still watching Netflix at the time and watching shows, so I'm sure I was not the best. But I do know mid-pregnancy was when I was listening to Lisa Bass. I was listening to Shay Elliott and following them and their homemaking skills, and I started my sourdough starter and I was getting into that. And I actually think I was making sourdough. I'm pretty sure I was at the beginning of this. And I was gardening and I was canning and things like that. And then I think I got my first flock of chickens. And I was doing better. But it wasn't until she was born when I really made a huge shift. So it's probably started when she was 4 months. But let's get back to her delivery. So I was pretty scared about going into labor again due to my previous delivery. I did not want to feel a thing. So I was like, I want the epidural. I want laughing gas the whole time. I don't want any pain or discomfort. So I went in there being like, epidural. I don't even care. I want all the things that I swore I would never have, because I was scared of epidurals. I was scared of that needle in your back. And then I was scared of the urine catheter and any weird thing going inside of me. Like it was just, I was scared of it all. So I get there, and the reason why we went in early was one night I went to bed. I was about 37 weeks and I slept the whole night, and I was like, that's weird. Like usually she's kicking and moving all night, and I didn't feel anything. So I called my midwife and said, hey, I'm a little concerned. I don't feel my baby moving. Can can I come see you? So I went in for ultrasound, and sure enough, she was not moving. They did quite a few ultrasounds, and due to the lack of movement, they decided to induce me. They took a lot of they couldn't get me going. They couldn't induce me. They did a whole bunch of things. This balloon thing. They tried to, I forget what else they did. I think I did the midwives brew too, but nothing was working. And I was in the hospital for quite, I want to say almost 36 hours trying to get induced because she wasn't moving. And finally, I think I forget what it's called, but this thing they put inside you and it dilates you, and then your water breaks. So that's what happened. They put this thing inside me, it ballooned up, and they were able to break my water. So they broke my water, and then they gave me the epidural, and then she came out pretty soon after that. But I had that epidural, I had laughing gas, I had all the things to make sure I wasn't in any discomfort, and I wasn't. It was great. I didn't feel a thing. She came out. It was pins and needles. I remember I was sitting in the bed, couldn't feel a thing. And all I could feel was pins and needles. And I'm like, hey, like, I feel like there's something going on down there. You might want to give it a look. And sure enough, her head was coming out. And that's all I felt. And she was born, and I was fine. Nothing. And then I think I went home like 6 hours later. It was fantastic. I had, the recovery was a lot better. I wasn't emotionally drained or scarred. And I was very happy about that. But it wasn't until my 4 month checkup with the pediatrician when I started to get anxiety about some of the things they wanted to do. I'm not going to go into detail about that, but there were things that were, which I did do them with my other two, but I started with all the ladies that I've been listening to. I started to hear things, and with those things, I started to realize that there were some things I wasn't sure of anymore. And it was at the pediatrician's office for the monthly, or like the 8 month, and then like is it 8 month? A few months in, you get some stuff for your baby. And I started to get really nervous. And I went through with some of the things they wanted to do with her. And then afterwards, I was like, I am never coming back here again. I never want to do this again. And that was the last time I ever went to a pediatrician for just the regular visits. And I have never felt more peace. But it wasn't until I found the Nourishing Traditions book for baby and childcare, and I started reading more into some of the scheduling for the babies and the pediatricians. And I started to learn and read. And then I met some women in my community who also felt the same way and had the same concerns. And I wasn't alone. And it was because of me being alone and not having any friends who are like-minded. That's where I started to get anxious, and I didn't know who to talk to and how to express how I was feeling without being judged or condemned. So I found a few ladies. I started reading, researching, and now I feel very confident with my choices of that. And I have a beautiful, healthy baby, and she's probably my quickest, my most alert. She is such a cutie pie. Like, she's talking my ear off. She is so sweet, and so her palate, she will eat everything. I started feeding her more egg yolks and cod liver oil, beef liver, all the things super young. And my other two never had that because I didn't know. And she will eat everything. Like, I buy sardines, like the whole little fish, and she'll eat the whole thing with my other son, my fourth. And it's just so funny because my older two are like, ew, that's gross. And I'm like, it's because I started too late with you guys. But it's really cool seeing the differences. I want to say she didn't sleep very good at the beginning because I still don't think there was a few things I did wrong with this. So I remember I was eating kimchi and sauerkraut, but I think the kimchi made her so gassy and was in my breast milk. And that caused a lot of discomfort in her. And I remember thinking, okay, like I got to stop experimenting with all this like fancy new food because it was giving her gas and causing her to be screaming all night. And it was just funny because I was trying so hard to do the right thing. And I think I made things worse in that sense. Because now looking back, I'm like, okay, so I should be eating eggs, high protein. Sauerkraut is probably good, but you got to be careful because there's certain like kimchi I think might cause gas. It definitely did for my daughter. So I was just learning, but for sure she is really, yeah, she's a lot better than the other two were. She slept earlier. She was achieving milestones earlier. And yeah, I think the life choices that I've made going forward definitely benefited her and my mental health. And that's when my sourdough journey really hit like, or kicked off. And I got the eggs and the chickens and the big garden, and I was doing all the things. And then we moved, and then baby number 4 came. But I will share that one in the next episode. But I will say the epidural, the labor and delivery was probably fine, but I wish I did not do it. I wish I knew what I knew now, but am thankful to say that I had the experience. It wasn't for me. I did it out of fear. It wasn't from a place of um, security and calmness. I was really afraid and fearful, and I don't think that's a good place to be when you are having children and in that really, it's a really stressful in time, and you don't want to be fearful. You want to have good people around you that bring a calmness and a sense of security. And Brandon was that for me. But I think with when I share my 4th, I was so calm and okay with what was going on. And I didn't have any fear. I didn't have any anxiety. I knew deep down that it was going to be different if I just went with my gut and I didn't do things out of fear. So yes, if this encourages you, I'm going to be so happy about that because everyone's story is so different and everyone is going through different types of pregnancies and lifestyle choices. And if this could be an encouragement or maybe give you some insight on what you want to do if you're pregnant, I hope this helps you. So thanks so much for joining, and I'll chat more next time. Thanks so much for joining me today. Please follow and subscribe to the show so you don't miss an episode. Also, if you could leave a quick review, that would mean so much to me. It is the only way I can truly know who is listening to this podcast and how you're benefiting from the show. See you next week.